Oh, you all like seamen that to the seas belong. I'll tell you all the fight me boys aboard the Nottingham. It was up an Irish.
And they told it in such a good way.
I thought it was just going to be, this is the start. Or, well, at the start, yeah, I said they're going from the end. They're starting at the end.
I'm glad you said that because I would have been lost at first.
Yeah.
That made me kind of pay attention then.
Just seeing the trailer
Yeah.
made me realize, like, it's these two against each other. So it's like, it sucked to see that, but at the same time, it was like, I had an expectation, and even then, seeing the trailers, they still broke my expectations because how they went through the 3 stories.
It's like every time they told it, they revealed more and more
Yeah.
by the way they told it, you know.
And then the girl, like we both caught it as like the truth told by blah blah blah, and then it faded out, and then with her it said just the truth was left.
Yeah.
So you knew, like, okay,
Women don't lie.
the last one, that's the truth.
Yeah. Yeah, then you're paying extra close
Yeah.
attention. It's the 3rd time they've told this story, but you're
Yeah.
the most interested then. Like, it's crazy how they can do that.
They did a good job too. Like, they didn't overdo it. Like, oh, we've seen this. They played what they needed to show us, and then they'd cut to something else we haven't seen because they know, like, we've seen this twice already.
Yep.
There's no point for it, you know?
Yeah, they do a great job of filling in gaps you knew happened, but we never got to experience it or witness it. And then you do in the
And you
right
know it's the
perspective.
truth, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It was good because you see the first guy, fucking the Matt Damon. He like, his story was like, okay, I get it, you know?
Yeah. Straight to the point. Yeah,
It makes sense. He loves his wife, honors it. He has shit to do as a knight or whatever
just
to
provide.
protect his king.
Yeah.
I didn't like how they just like he looked at her and then they're getting married.
Yeah,
That
they
happened
jumped
super
across
fast.
a lot.
But then you see after it's because her father was in super debt.
Yeah, he owed the king a lot.
And it transversed over each of their characters too.
That's a big part of the plot, and it's great how they show the different perspectives. The first 2 are from a male's perspective, and the last is from a female's, and that's when they consider it the truth. But how it all alters, and people see different versions of themselves in each.
And just how they told it.
Yeah.
Like, one of my favorite things was the fucking glove he threw down. Remember, I went over to it. I was like, the glove, because it was so important. I didn't realize it was his glove from raping her. It was his glove in the room. He threw the glove down, and you had no idea its significance and importance.
It's importance in the moment, especially. Like, you just
importance
thought it
in
was a
the moment.
statement, because that's what's so unique.
Yeah,
'cause-
you thought it was a part of the court.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
thing, but then you realized that was his fucking glove.
Yeah, it's like an OJ trial.
From raping her. Yeah, that was my favorite part. That was one of the main things I saw with the glove that connected to the end when he threw his glove off when he was going to rape her. Mm-hmm. But that was even like that was his story.
Perspective, yeah.
So I liked it because his was correct, but not like fully. Because you see hers, and you gotta go to the bathroom during it. But it was a lot more visceral, you know? It wasn't as like romantic for him. Like, this is forbidden love kind of thing, and you don't want this, but I know you do. It was straight like terror, like a horror film, and you just watch her go through that.
Yeah.
And so it's like it's the same thing but completely different. And so that's what I liked about the whole thing. Is like each story tells a difference.
Yeah. Yeah, it ends up adding different pieces and different moments.
Yeah, everything you see, you'll see it again in a different light.
From a different perspective. Yeah, exactly.
And then you'll see it again in the truth. Like, we're trusting the storyteller when they say this is the truth, like her truth.
Yeah.
So then it's like it's very subtle, but like it is different
Yeah.
from their minds.
Yeah. To them, they thought it was the truth.
Yeah.
From our knowledge, like.
And like him, the names were very hard.
I know it was very hard.
It was hard. Should we just do Matt Damon and Adam Driver?
Yeah, I think that's the simplest way.
Forgive us.
We can look it up, but.
Because you see the beginning, you see from Matt Damon's point of view, his wife telling him what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And to him, he thinks it's like, he thinks it's more like he's trying to help her kind of thing. Like, how could this happen to you? How did I let this happen? But then you see at the end, from her perspective, it's just a typical man.
All about me.
Yeah.
How could the Lord do this to me?
Yeah, do this to me. And she's like, excuse me? But she's not going to say that.
You saw it in her face, though.
Yeah, and just like all this stuff is, and it's very subtle differences like that.
Yeah.
Where you're just like, oh, dude, that's so fucked.
And they do a great job at the end, too, where after he's victorious and he saves her, it's then all about him. Yeah, and he's riding through the crowd with his arms up and they're chanting.
And she's all traumatized.
And she's, still just as traumatized. That's what's great is the short 30-second, 60-second ending with her, years later, just with a smile on her face.
And you don't even know if the kid is
his or whose.
Doesn't fucking matter.
Doesn't matter. She's happy. She's over all of that.
Yeah, she said, doesn't matter, like, banter, men play with each other, like, it doesn't matter. No. Doesn't matter if I did this or not, like, if I spoke up or not, if I died from this, it's not worth it. But she still did it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, towards it, she's like, because then she was pregnant, she's like, it doesn't matter as long as I can live and have my kid and just live.
Her perspective changed when she became a mother.
Yeah.
Like,
that's what's cool about it, because it's like she was standing up for herself, but then she realized like why other women, like herself, have just taken it. Mm-hmm. So it makes you like question what's the right answer. Like, does it, if you can live and have children and keep going, but you're struggling or whatever, you have a shitty husband, what's the right answer? And there really isn't one. No. I think that's the whole thing about this film. There isn't.
Yeah, there's no right answer.
There's no right answer. No. It's just all fucked
Living
up.
And finding happiness where you can. Yeah. And luckily it worked out for her. She at least found her happiness in the end,
from her husband, who was fighting for himself.
For himself, not for her.
That was the main thing. And I loved how she called him out about that. Like, you're fucking fighting for yourself.
Yeah.
You don't give a fuck what happens after.
You didn't even tell me what was going to happen to me.
Burned at the stake. Like, when they were listing those penalties off, I was like, holy, like, what's the point of that?
It's some gnarly, like, shit. That's what was so cool about the movie, is it showed how simple shit was back then, but extreme.
Extreme is simple,
Extreme, but simple. Like, their whole premise was you can't get pregnant from rape because you have to climax.
You have to like it. That's a whole nother thing.
You have to enjoy it to conceive.
Come on.
And like that was just believed back. They literally stated it's science, and like for cinematic sake.
When that dude stood up and said that, we're all just like.
That's like they're just making a point of like how ridiculous things were back then, especially to a modernized woke society that we are.
And there's no internet, no nothing. Nope. So your culture and your society, that's what it is.
Yeah.
You can't get outside that. If you try, you're crazy. You're a witch.
You're the outsider. You're getting burnt.
Yeah, it's something. Like, there's no global connection like there is today where people can dispute it and you can feel like accurate.
Yeah.
It was just like, you're wrong. And you're just like, I don't feel like this is wrong, but they're telling me it's wrong. So I must be wrong.
Yeah. People around me say so.
That's so great. That was another very big point.
It's a huge point. Yeah.
Like, this is my property.
Yeah. They say, hey, you owe me money. How are you going to pay me back?
Yeah.
Let's get creative. Give me your best land. I don't want to get that as a matter. Matt Damon was a
No.
badass warrior, though. Damn, that dude was
Yeah,
beaten up.
that's one thing we should talk about is like you blame the men in the whole thing, but what they have to go through. Like,
True.
I'm not trying to like excuse anything,
Yeah.
but it's just different time, like what they had to go through and the whole conflict of him and his homie. That was another huge point is you get to see both sides of them. And
Yeah.
at first they were literally like vouching for each other.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's just like at some point, it's like you can't just vouch for your homie because then you'll get fucked.
Yeah, straight up. You start
it's
defending
just-
yourself at some point.
Yeah, you have that's survival.
Yeah.
And
He
so
is.
he was good. Adam Driver was good with Ben Affleck guy.
Yeah.
So that's what I really liked about it too, because it gives background on everyone and makes it not look like anyone's super evil. It's just
Exactly.
like it gives experience for
Explains their
everything.
point.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
explains everything and how it got to the point where it got to.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. I did not expect that
No.
at all.
No, it literally made the entire film make sense.
Yeah.
At the end, you're like, I understood every
Yeah.
event that happened.
You understand it exactly, and you're
Yeah.
not like that. Fuck that guy. Well, I mean, you kind of are, but it's like you get why they're that way.
Yeah, he was bred that way, basically.
Yeah.
Because he was hanging out with Ben Affleck so
Yeah.
much, and that was life and sexual drive.
And he's this king
Yeah.
within a small kingdom, and can do whatever he wants. He's like, you're my friend. I can make whatever. You're good. You're good.
Yeah,
You're
we're
good.
good. Just like you and I. Like, you
You're
do whatever
good.
you want.
Come on in, take your robe off, and he just. All right.
Lay in this bed with these women.
Yeah.
Now, take your
It's
pants
like
off.
you interrupted me for this stupid moment, and when he's accused of rape, he's like, "Come on."
Come on. We're good. Take your pants off and
We're
join me. There's no worries in this room.
So I loved that aspect of it. Like I didn't expect that, and that's literally what made the film as good as it was.
Yeah. No, at the end of the day, you felt like you understood each character, their perspective, what they did, and why they did it.
Yeah,
And not that it's all good and no one's
Exactly.
blameless.
but that's
but
how
you
it is.
understand it. Yeah, exactly. That's just the way it was for that time, for those people.
So I really liked that at the beginning because I saw the trailers where they're just like, "You raped my wife," fuck you. But then you see at the beginning like they were actually friends, like
Yeah.
good
Oh,
friends, and
homies.
like
Yeah.
they saved each other's lives and back each other up, and then stuff happens and it keeps going, and then one gets in favor with the higher up kind of person, and then
Exactly.
the other one tries to sue him for his wife, and then he gets lower on the totem pole, and then he's forever lower.
It really shows how important politics are
Yeah.
always. you
Yeah.
know, from 600 years ago to today.
Yeah.
It's all about who you rub elbows with and like
So it's in that
whether or not it's right or wrong. Most of
Yeah.
the times it's wrong, but it works for some people. We've been taught so much wrong history, I'm sure, in
Yeah.
our education, but it's history now. It's someone who's right because
You can't predict. You can't predict it. You can't. One person can stand up against it, even if they're right. They can get fucked. What happened after?
I don't know.
That's another point.
Actually, it did say that the husband eventually died and she lived
Yeah.
happily, never remarried.
never married. She's like, fuck
Yeah,
that.
had her one kid and like was good. That is cool though. Like that it was based on historic events.
Yeah.
That's nutty. Like
Because that's another thing. Like you see his point of view, Matt Damon, and he's like a rough,
Yeah,
warrior,
warrior.
but he's making love with her and she likes it. But then toward the last part, you see hers, and like she's basically
fan.
getting
yeah, it
raped,
feels like that. You know.
basically getting raped by him.
Yeah.
But just because she's his wife, it's okay.
Yeah, it's not rape then.
Kind of thing. So it's the same traumatic thing.
And that's one interesting thing. I like how you say, what does it mean? Her getting pregnant. I'm
Yeah,
now
that's
focusing on
that's
like what does it
another
mean?
thing.
You know, because it's like, was it Adam's seed in the end, or
Yeah.
did something allow her to get pregnant by him? Then in the
Yeah.
end, was it his drive to overcome Adam? You know, that actually allowed.
I
him
think she
to,
just doesn't give a fuck. That's what she wanted, is something to live on for.
Yeah.
A kid.
Like, that's...
Because they could have focused on that. Like, she could have freaked out. Like, that's the seed of a rapist. But she didn't care.
No, yeah. No, I agree.
She's like, because either way, either one of them, like, I wasn't enjoying it. And, like, in the trials when they're pestering her, like, did you enjoy that dick? And obviously,
did you get pleasure?
Yeah, obviously, no.
No.
But she had to say yes. Her husband died. She's probably like, shrug. The truth, when she took over, she left.
Saved the place.
She was taking over everything. I totally forgot about that.
That's what's cool. Kind of when you're talking about it, shows their characters. Like Matt Damon, this whole time thinks he's providing.
Yeah.
The only way he really knows how to provide is to fight. That's the only way he ever makes money. He's not collecting from his people. He's fighting. He's not, taking care of the horses. Like, all he knows is war.
Yeah.
And it's sad that you kind of see that flaw in him, but it's also what made him such a good warrior.
Yeah, to get where he is.
To get where he is and win in the end, In the end, he was the ultimate victor, though she was. But, I mean, he had to be who he was to get
That's
her
so
there,
true.
That's
what I was thinking when they had the battle at the end. I was like, he's been in the most battles, the most head-on battles, dirty battles.
He's going to grit it out.
Yeah,
because when Adam Driver got that
he got
shot
sliced in the
him,
leg.
Yeah, he got that. That was a vital shot, and he should be, like, immobile. But that guy knows how to fight or fly. You see the scars on him. One time he takes off his shirt, and you see these, like, scars all over his back. Like, they make it seem like he's seen some shit.
Yeah.
And so...
Yeah, it was nice to see her take it over.
Yeah.
She going through all the stuff, like shouldn't this horse be out on, outgoing? Like, we're trying to get it pregnant, and
no, it was pregnant. Yeah, she knew what was best for the horse. It should be out grazing. Yeah. And the guy says, "Master told me to keep it here." Like, well,
like, get out there.
Yeah, get it out there.
Or she said, "I trust your judgment." Like, my master is great at many things, but
he knows horses for war.
Yeah.
But I know you know how to breed horses. Yeah, like, I trust your judgment. Yeah. So, like, she was so wise. Yeah. And that's one cool thing about Adam's story, is it showed how intelligent she was.
Yeah.
But it didn't show that from Matt's point of view.
Yeah, no, it was all his.
It was all about him and his battles and his perspective. But
my pretty wife.
Yeah, and she was just kind of a trophy on the side. Yeah. But that's one thing I really loved about Adam's perspective. It did show his love and his passion towards her, because she really was a trophy. And that's what I loved in her perspective. It showed that she really was the full package. She was running the castle for him, like, knowing things better than Matt. Like,
and, like, the people coming to her paying rent, and they're like, no one's come to pay.
Here's last month's.
And he's like, is that normal? She's like, yeah. She's like, okay, well, thank you. Like, stuff like that. He obviously doesn't know how to handle all this stuff. He's a war person.
Which is also pretty crazy, because it also makes me think that Ben Affleck might not be as bad of a guy as he is put off to be as well, because maybe he made the right decision by not making Matt Damon commander or captain or whatever after his father, because we saw how bad he was at management.
Yeah.
Anyways, and
but we also saw how bad he was at where his position is. He's just fucking bitches.
Yeah, that's all. It's true. And not like he's fulfilling his duties either, but
you get to a position, and then they're just like, this is
it's comfortable.
Yeah, this is who I am.
Mm-hmm.
You're wrong. I'm in this position. Who the fuck are you to tell me otherwise?
And they do a great job of subtly hinting. They only say it once that Ben Affleck is the cousin of the king.
Yeah.
Right?
He's like, well, you're the blah, blah, blah. He's like, well, I'm the cousin of the king.
Exactly.
And you're my friend, so you're good. And then literally cuts to the scene of him parting him.
Yeah. And luckily, I'm the judge.
Yeah. So you're good.
Yeah, that was
they did a good job at the end, too, of, like, showing, like, the people who knew, like, the Adam Driver's
assistant dude.
Who knocked on the door.
Yep.
They showed him a lot, like,
his reactions.
looking bad. Yeah. Yep. And then Ben Affleck.
Friend.
And her friend.
Her friend, who ended up giving her up, which she seemed like such a good
said,
friend throughout.
That's another thing they did well, is, like, they showed that conversation like, yeah, he's good looking, you know, blah blah, but I don't trust. They're just showing that conversation, and that's all it takes.
Yep. Yeah. And
Back
that
then,
comes back
that's
years.
all. That's all it takes back then.
That was gossip.
Yeah,
that
gossip is like Bible. Someone says that shit, and they're like, yeah, she said once he was good looking, and they're like, oh, she wanted it.
It showed how important that stuff was, though, especially when, Matt's whole strategy was to spread the news about the raping.
Yeah.
And it seemed like a good strategy in his perspective, but then when it shows her, like, that's traumatizing for her. Now everybody knows that she just got some side dick.
Or they don't even know.
Yeah, like, they don't, like, then it's just gossip out there, like.
Even if, like, he fucking won, it's for God to decide, and, like, God has nothing to do with that shit. It's so bullshit. Just like all that God stuff too was like very frustrating to watch.
Yeah, it showed how like prevalent it was back then.
Yeah,
and dominating.
That was
it.
It
Truly was all they had to be ruled and like restrained by was their fear of God. In the end.
And when he repented, he went to Adam Driver went to the priest. He's like, I did carnal, whatever, and he's just. He repented for it, and so now he's like, I'm innocent.
Good, yeah.
That's it. I'm fine. But, I mean, I think that's one of the best things of this movie is it just represents what it's like back then. And for now, we have free thinking, hopefully.
Yeah.
And we're back then, it's like, no, you're wrong.
It's black and white.
You're wrong? Oh, you think you're right? Let God decide.
In a fight to the death.
With your strong husband. Hopefully he's strong. Hopefully he's strong. Hopefully he's been in 20 battles. So he can survive. Yeah. If not, you're smitten.
You're going to be stripped naked, chained,
smitten,
and burnt alive in front of this crowd of people right after your husband was killed.
She called her husband out like, no, you're doing this for yourself.
Yeah.
Not for me. And he won. And they're all celebrating him.
Yeah.
And she was on the horse at the end, just like very emotional because she thought she could have been burned at the stake.
She thought she was gonna be,
and no one gave her any recognition. Like it wasn't her who overcome it; it was her husband.
Yeah,
that's so fun.
I know.
Yeah,
that's what got me in the end. Was it took so much bravery for her. Especially to continue when she did figure out or find out the consequences of her potential.
Yeah, and
losing.
she kept going.
And she kept going, just because she felt
like
it was
I'm telling the truth.
Yeah, she felt it was right. Like she knows.
And still people will think of her as a sleuth. A floosy. But then
men are pigs.
Exactly. That's the whole thing. Men are pigs.
Yep. Yeah, it really depicts that well.
Women have been fucked over for so long. It's so upsetting. It's so upsetting.
That's what was great in the end. It was a feministic movie about men.
Yeah, yeah.
It just like made you realize how important
a battle
women are.
about men, but it's
battle
all
of
about
men
women.
About women. Yeah, like
you're just fighting for your own stupid reasons, not for us.
Yeah, for your own honor, though it was all about her honor to begin with. Yeah, it really was an awesome message in the end because it still pertains to today. Though it was depicted in a time 600 years ago. Like we're fighting the same battles.
That'll reflect forever. Hopefully not forever, but just I don't know. That's just the stigma that's been going forever. Like that was what 1300s.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
1380.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
1400s.
Yeah.
And there's still women being like that, just like.
And that's what
you're a piece of men's history. That's so fucked.
That's what I'm saying. That's so pathetic. We look at that time and we look down on it. Like we're so much more civilized and aware now, and yet we talk about we have the same problems.
Yeah.
600 years later.
We're just not battling people.
Yeah, at least we're not fighting to the death, but maybe we need to get the point across.
We're just fighting with divorce attorneys.
And words on Facebook.
I just thought it'd be a typical blockbuster.
Oh, it had depth.
Yeah, it did.
It had depth. It had a lot.
It was about women. So that was cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. I'd recommend it.
If you like women,
If you like women or men battling on horses in chains and armor, it's pretty badass. There's some sick fighting scenes too.
there's good fights.
They made him look like seasoned. Like
Yeah.
the way he fought, you know.
There was literally like 6 to 8 battle scenes.
Yeah. And they didn't make it super
him in
long or
it.
drawn out, but they made it like impactful.
Yeah.
Where you saw
With,
them
like,
flash.
Well, just speaking like production wise, like
Oh, yeah.
incredible.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so
The
well
whole
done.
time I was like, dude, to film this shit would be so difficult.
And it was
I
real.
wouldn't,
It
I
wasn't
wouldn't even.
CGI
Yeah, I
and,
wouldn't
like,
even want to tackle that, but
No.
they did it. Like the whole movie, they were throwing that scenes, fucking horses.
The horses. They
To
had a lot of
direct
horses.
and like just dog and all this stuff. You get these sets. It's just like this shit is so hard to do.
Like I was looking for holes and for signs of modernness, you know? Yeah.
You
And you
literally
never
get,
saw it.
You get
Like,
taken back in time.
No, like, yeah, you were back in time for the full 2.5 hours. Like, nothing about it reminded you of today.
They start with the final
They go
battle.
straight in, yeah.
They go into the next battle, and then it's just they don't like
don't
cheap
give up.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
they don't try to like act stuff out. They do it all.
Yeah.
The whole fucking
The
time.
whole 2.5 hours. You were saying at the end, you're like, I needed to pee, but I did not want
Yeah,
to. Because
yeah,
literally
that's true.
missing 2 minutes of a 2.5 hour movie that felt detrimental,
Yeah.
like, to the experience. Like,
That's rare when it's like every moment of the 2.5 hour film was like, I can't miss this. That's rare.
it all meant something.
Yeah, it all meant something.
It all brought a piece to it together.
It's not
Troy,
about the
but-
fights. That's just like a added
It is, yeah, just a bonus.
bonus.
Yeah. To make you feel the times were real.
Yeah, and just like the production value, because they're fucking sick.
'Cause, yeah, nothing made me. I felt like we were saying, we were in that time. Like you felt how dramatic it was when someone was leaving for war. Like, and I sat back.
I'll be
confidently.
back
Yeah.
in 5 months.
He's like, I'll be back in a few months. Take care
I'd
of the
wish
place.
you'd look sadder that I'm leaving. It's like, oh, I love you.
It's ridiculous. Like, but like it was pretty like
And he
real
gets back,
stuff.
I'm going to Paris tomorrow. I need to get paid.
I need to get paid. I need to go get my money.
All right. We're toasting end of the Last Duel.
Great movie.
All right. Great film.
Great.
I think we both didn't expect this much depth from it, but we got it.
You got it. I literally walked in blind.
Yeah.
Hadn't seen
That's a good way to do
anything. A preview. I read a short description, knew it was about a duel over a girl, and that was literally all I walked in knowing. I walked out emotionally drained.
Yeah.
In a good way, because it was intense, it was deep, it was emotional.
Yeah.
It was
A
thoughtful.
lot of lessons.
A lot of lessons. Like it taught me a lot. Yeah, I walked out and I
I
felt.
was surprised by that.
Yeah, truly.
I just wanted to be taken back in time, and it did that
Great job.
fully.
Of that. Yeah.
But yeah, then taught me a bunch of shit.
Literally, a bunch of shit taught. It's made to appreciate women,
Yeah.
but not necessarily made for women.
If
But
a
yeah,
man-
it's actually a great sign for you women out there. Take your men to this and ask them what they thought of that movie.
Yeah.
You can get just pure entertainment from it. You can get depth from it. You can get feminist.
I think that's the main
values from
thing.
it.
It's
Yeah.
entertaining, but it brought a lot more depth than what I was thinking. Set design, all that stuff. Like, so much work went into that because it truly brought us back to that time, which is so hard to do.
I've never related to that time or felt like I understood that time more than I did in
Yeah.
that film. Like it shows all these small details that make you understand.
Yeah, you're there.
Yeah, you're
and
there.
That's
Like that makes sense.
so hard to do.
Yeah.
No one understands that. So if you like that, go see it. If not, you'll see it streaming, whatever.
Yeah.
How do we end it?